Hi, welcome to the Neil's Homestead, and today we are picking stuff in our greenhouse and trying to get it cleaned up. We've been really busy. We've been picking some stuff, but some of this you really need to pick regularly, and we've kind of let it go a little bit too long. For example, eggplant, if you don't keep them picked regularly and watered regularly, then they don't get as big. They should be a whole lot larger than this. They tend to not grow as long, and they get kind of round and not as pretty and not as tasty whenever they're like this. This one here is a decent one for this time in the season. Also in this row we have peppers. We have, I think these are lunchbox variety. They're a sweet pepper. The peppers all, mostly anyway, kind of fell over and probably needed some kind of support cage for them. They're a lot easier to pick if they're not all over the ground, and bugs and critters don't get into them as much. These are also a sweet pepper. I'm struggling to remember the name of these. It's one we grow pretty much every year. They're a lot like a bell pepper. We did 3 or 4 kinds of tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and this is one of our favorites, Sunburst. I like the purple variety as well that we'll see down there, but these have been pretty productive, although they're pretty small. So this is our purple variety. I don't remember the name of these. Some purple varieties get more purple than this. These are kind of reddish purple. But the purple ones generally have a higher sugar content for tomatoes, including cherry tomatoes, and taste better. These are our red ones. I think these are a super sweet 100 variety. Some of these have gone too far and they've gone ahead and split. They're no good anymore. These are pretty productive, but they do come out on the smaller side again. In our other greenhouse, we have our long beans, and we have some green beans growing, and our tomatoes, and down at the far end we have a few cucumbers. We haven't picked regularly enough again, and these have gone to seed. These could be saved for seed. Each one of these little bumps has a seed that would grow into a plant. I might just leave them and do that. Even this one is, you could eat this, but it's pretty tough at this point, stringy. We've got a couple of tomatoes. These have still not really kicked in very much. Most of them haven't ripened up yet, but we've had a few off and on out of here. There's several green ones, so we will have some, but they just seem kind of slow and late this year. Or maybe we were late putting them in, and I know I haven't given them enough water, so all of that may play a factor. These are our cucumbers. We've gotten a decent amount of cucumbers off of these, although again they haven't been picked regularly enough and cared for well enough. Out here behind this greenhouse we have our one pear tree on the farm, and it has never had a good crop of pears, but we do get a few off of it, and this year may well be the most we've ever had on it. And they're pretty much ready to go at this point. So I think this one is probably ready. This one actually looks pretty nice. It doesn't have too much in the way of bug bites or anything. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah. That one's nice and sweet. That's a good pear. Quite often they come out looking something like this with all the bug bites around them, and if you're going to eat it, you got to cut away the good parts. But this one, comparatively, is like a store-bought one. If you eat pears and apples too green, you got to be careful with that, because sometimes it's tempting to do, but it'll give you diarrhea and make you not feel good. Here's our apple tree, and this is the first year that it has really produced. Last year it had a couple on it is all. And this year it's, for a young apple tree, it's pretty well loaded. I think these apples are all ready to be picked. We really need to come out here and just harvest them all and put them up somewhere cool. They're good and sweet. They're far sweeter than like a you know, a Red Delicious. Those, I don't find those very sweet in the store. They look really pretty, but these are way better than those. The texture is very firm. It's not grainy. It's kind of starchy too, besides just being sweet. We basically haven't used pesticides on any of our crops, just a little bit on some of the vegetables early to knock some flea beetles off and stuff, but nothing on any of the fruit trees or anything. So they've got blemishes. They haven't been perfect. Like the leaves have some rust spots on them, but you know, that way we know what's in our food, I guess. Behind me, we're going to check to see if we have anything as far as cantaloupes, honeydew, and watermelon. These also didn't do well this year. I think it was a number of things. One of the leading things was basically neglect on my part. I didn't get enough water to them. I should have put some magnesium sulfate, Epsom salts through. I never did that. Plus, whenever we planted them, we had a problem kind of like damping off. But damping off is usually whenever the seedling is first coming up, then it will kind of rot at the bottom and die. Well, these were seedlings ready to go, but they were starting to basically damp off. So a lot of the plants that we planted died very quickly. So these have not gotten very large, and the ones we've eaten have not been very sweet. The earliest one we did was not terrible, but you always have trouble with animals getting in here and eating them. These can be raccoons, possums, coyotes will get in, foxes, deer, a lot of things like sweet cantaloupes. Each of those animals kind of has their own style of how they eat it, and you can usually kind of tell that which one ate it if you know what you're looking for. We'll try cutting this one open. I don't think it's probably worth eating, but maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. It does smell good. It looks okay. It tastes like cantaloupe, but it's not sweet. It's not crisp like the ones you get in the store. It's pretty bland, especially compared to what a good cantaloupe out in the field, homegrown one should be. This is not that. My boys will still come out and pick these and eat them anyway, even though they're not the best. They're the best we have, I guess. I found one that might be kind of good. A truly good one has a crack all the way around the stem. This has nothing, so that tells me that it didn't really ripen properly. It's probably like the other one. So I think our melon patch is pretty much done for the year, and it's a bit disappointing. Okay, it's very disappointing, but that's the way some years go. Next year I'll try to do a little better with keeping up with them. Maybe we'll try to figure out our damping off issue and grow some better melons next year. And for our watermelon, they all died from that damping off issue. We haven't gotten a single one, which is definitely disappointing. There were plants planted down through here in these other rows, but there's nothing here. So that's it for catching up with our crops that we have growing. Thank you for coming along with us. We'll see you all next time.